Hey, so I am
Hey.
now on the line with a Miss Sandra Gutiérrez, who is a Kizumba as well as a hip hop dancer and teacher. Is that right?
And hip hop now, not just
Okay,
Kizomba.
okay, all right. You were born and raised in Madrid, Spain. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You've been a dancer for the past 15 years, Kizumba for the past 5 years, or was it five?
5 years Kizomba, yes.
Hey, how are you doing today, Miss Gutierrez?
What?
So how are you doing today?
How I'm doing? Of what?
¿Cómo está hoy? How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. You know my English is more or less. Yes, I'm doing well. I'm doing
Oh, that's
well.
awesome. That's awesome. I want to first start off. I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I really do appreciate that.
Thank you for the invitation.
So, I think a great way to start off this conversation. Excuse my dogs in the back. I think a great way to start this podcast. I would love to hear about your childhood growing up in Spain. What was that like for you?
It was super cool. You know, Spain life is good, and yes, I grow like a normal child, super nice. Then I start to dance, so then super nice. So yes, my life here is cool. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember? Do you remember what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Yes, I want to be a teacher, like school teacher. But then I started to think maybe not in a school, but always teaching.
Okay.
As,
Okay.
now as a dancer.
And so let me ask you this: growing up in Spain, I'm very curious to hear from you. How important was music in your household? In your household?
Uh, in my house, they always listen, like, for me, good music. You know, like 80s, 90s music, hip hop, and all the music that I really love. I really appreciate. And yes, my brother is also dancer. My mom also. So music here in this house all the time.
So I'm curious. I don't know much about Spain and more so Madrid as well. Is that like a salsa and bachata type culture or not even?
Yes, I think, yeah, more bachata, but also more bachata and salsa than kizomba.
Well, I
Yes,
mean,
for
Kizuma's
sure.
from Africa, so I definitely understand that. Um,
Yeah.
I'm curious. So did you grow up dancing bachata then and listening to
Yes, I
bachata music?
started. I started with bachata
Mm.
after hip hop. I started with bachata because my mom danced bachata. So it's like, okay, let's try this. And then in a typical social salsa, bachata, and kizomba, I meet kizomba and I decide kizomba is
Hey,
my place.
hey, okay, okay. So you're growing up in Spain. You said you want to be a teacher. I'm curious. Did you go to college at all?
If
Universidad?
I'm, yes, yes, I study psychology.
Okay. And so were you dancing at that time or no?
Can you repeat, please?
I said, were you dancing in Universidad as well or no?
Yes. When I were in my university, I started with bachata, and yes, till now. So 5 years,
Mm.
more or
And,
less.
and so I'm curious, were you ever interested in teaching bachata, or were you just social dancing? Like what is how does that work for you?
I teach some bachata classes, but like a super beginner, and then I leave it.
Okay, all right, okay. And so then tell me how did you get introduced into Kizumba? Then let's get into that.
So as I told you in a salsa bachata and kizomba social, I first of all I see kizomba dance and I was like, I don't like this, too close. I don't like this. But then, because I started to know like more fusion music, and it seems for me like the beat of hip hop, R&B. So in that way, I introduce myself into Kizomba.
Okay. Okay. So I'm very interested to hear that. Tell me this. What was your beginner stage like in learning Kizomba? What was that like for you?
I started learning in socials, like the classes before the parties. I started there. Then I go to a dance school with Leti and Dani, Spanish Kizomba teachers. After that, I continue like dancing with people, and also with my hip hop background, I started to understand more other things. And then dancing with Albir also, I learn a lot.
Okay. I'm very curious. How big is hip hop in Spain?
um, I'm not sure how big, but for me, we have a nice culture. We have a lot of very good dancers, and we have also a community that cares of the culture of hip hop. So this is important for me, and we have many good teachers here of
Okay,
hip hop.
okay. And tell me again, who were your first Kizumba teachers? Who were they?
Leti and Dani.
Okay. And so were they some of the original, pioneers for Kizumba in Madrid in Spain?
Leti and Dani, you mean?
Yeah, were they some of the first teachers for Kizumba in
Um,
Spain?
I'm not sure if the first teachers here in Spain, but
Okay.
one of the first for sure.
Okay. Okay. And so I'm curious, I guess how big is Kizumba in Spain? Is it still a small scene, or is it starting to grow? What is the scene like in Madrid?
In Madrid, we have like a big community. I think in Spain is the biggest one in Madrid. We have plenty of parties. You know, you can go out to dance kizomba from Tuesday to Sunday before COVID. But yes, we have a big community, and we want to create to make it bigger, but step by step.
Okay, okay. And you said this earlier, but I'm very interested to hear from you. I'm a super big fan of Al Beer, so I'm very curious. How did you meet Al Beer? How did that come about?
I met him in a party here in Madrid that friends did this party in the street. So he comes to dance, and he told me, I saw your videos. I saw you dance hip hop, and I was like, you are Albir, you know, for everyone, Albir is Albir. So yes, I meet him there. We dance, and years after, we start to work together. So yes, it was really random, because I was like, you Albir seen my videos? Wait.
Okay, okay. So let me ask you this then. I want to ask you from a follows perspective. Tell me
Oh.
this. Um, in your opinion, what is the difference between an average lead, a mediocre lead, and a good lead? What do they do differently?
Oof, really nice question. Okay, so for me, to be a good leader, you need to take care of the leading of the smoothness. For me, a good leader is a person that is smooth in the leading. Sorry. Also, you need to have technique, basic technique. And for me, that's super personal, but for me, it's super important, the musicality. Super important. Basic musicality, and then for me, top leaders has really nice musicality, creativity, and also the rest, technique, smoothness. Smoothness is really important for me also.
Okay, I understand that. A lot of these things only come with time in the dance. So let me ask you this then: for someone who may be new to any type of dance style, and they're not, they're unable to do what you just said, and they're kind of beating themselves up. They want to be a superstar and they've been dancing for 6 months. What advice could you give that person?
Okay, first of all, take your time. This is my best advice because sometimes we want to run before knowing how to walk. Like, mm, don't stress, just have fun, just learn, go to classes. If you really want to improve yourself, go to classes and practice, and always be humble. This is my best advice.
Okay, and I definitely understand that. Always be humble. That's
Yes.
yeah, that's kind of huge. I know sometimes you'll go to socials and you'll see those really good dancers, but they kind of come off snobby, like they may be better than you because they've been dancing a lot longer. And
Yeah.
that's the issue. That's the issue that I'm pretty sure a lot of people have had to run into. So I definitely understand that. So tell me this. Tell me this. You grow up in a Latin culture, and for whatever reason you get drawn towards Kizumba. Can you tell me, what makes Kizumba so special for you? Well, why have you chosen Kizumba over, any other dance style?
Okay, so okay, yes, we have to go a little bit before Kizomba because I was in competitions of hip hop and that stuff. And at one point, I was like, okay, I don't want to do choreographies every time. I want to feel something different in dance. That's why I came to social dance because as a follow, you don't know how what you are going to do. So that's cool. And then Kizomba because there's a special energy in that hug, in that moment that you can be for hours in a spot with the same person and it feels like 10 minutes. Sometimes I look at my watch and okay, 2 hours. Wait, when? Because it's kind of magic. The connection that you create with the people is amazing. It's amazing.
So are you saying that you don't get that connection with, bachata?
No, not at all.
Oh, really? And so I
Oh,
mean, and so it was different there. How was the bachata embrace? Any different than the Kizomba?
because in bachata you dance just one song and bye bye. So for me, in that time, you can't create. Yes, you can create a connection, but not as big as in Kizomba. And I don't know. I feel like in Kizomba you can create more different things because you don't have like a real basic that you have to follow like in
Mhm.
bachata 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's more special for me. Yes, you can
Oh,
create. You can share more with the people because you dance around as less 10 minutes as less. So yeah, and also the body connection is closer. So
okay. I
two
mean,
different things.
I mean, so I'll be honest with you though. There's still a close embrace in bachata. Yes,
A what?
like a close embrace, a hug, perhaps. You know,
No,
not really. Okay, all right. Excuse me. Okay,
not really.
okay, all right, all right. Okay. So tell me this. Now I'm very curious to hear from you. Tell me, how has your hip hop background, how has that influenced your kizomba style?
Okay, so at the beginning, nothing. I have to confess. Yes, also the body control, the way I can control. Yeah, I can control my body. It helps me, but it was after I meet Albir when I start to introduce my hip hop background more in my dance, like with styling and other things to make my own, yeah, my own style. So it's because Albir. I always say that. I have to say that because for me he's an inspiration because he also introduced hip hop in his dance. So I see him and I think, okay, maybe I can do the same. So yes, it's because
So
of that.
so I'm actually very curious then. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I don't want to get anyone upset. But would you classify yourself as a Kizomba dancer or as an urban kids dancer?
As a Kizomba fusion dancer.
Okay. Okay. And
Because
okay. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Go
yeah,
ahead.
because I don't follow all the rules of Kizomba and I don't follow all the rules of Urban Kiss. So I consider myself as a Kizomba fusion dancer.
All right. So um okay, so we got Kizomba, we got Urban Kids, and we got Kizomba Fusion somewhere in there. So real quick, is Kizomba Fusion your own word, or is that actually maybe a style?
Ah, that's hard. That's hard because um, all the artists also discuss about this about Kizomba fusion doesn't exist. It's just Kizomba urban kiss. But if you are in the middle, you have to put a name or you are nowhere. So for me, sometimes I say, okay, I dance what I feel with the music that it sounds. If you want to name that Kizomba fusion, okay. If you want to name that urban kiss, okay. But for example, to my students, I told them I don't teach urban kiss because I don't follow the rules of urban kiss, and also I don't teach Kizomba because I don't follow all the rules of Kizomba. I mix and I teach you that. So,
How long have you been teaching?
I have to think. I think maybe for 3 years, more or less.
Okay.
But first I start with some little workshops, assisting teachers and that things. But now I consider I teach. Before just assist and be here, make the demo, and that's all. But not now.
Okay. So tell me this, then I'm very curious to hear from you. Um, what was your beginner stage like as a teacher?
In what specifically?
What was it like learning how to teach? What was that like?
It was hard,
Oh, okay.
because before I teach hip hop to children, but I prefer to teach adult people. I have to confess. But you have always many people that tells you, you are not ready to teach. You are, and at the beginning it's true, but for example, I tell Albir always, no, Albir, I'm not ready. And he told me, yes, you are ready. You have to learn things yet. Yes, it's true. But if you don't start, you will never learn. You will never have all the knowledge of the life of dancing. So you know your body, you know how to control it, you have your background, and you will learn other things of Kizomba scene. Meanwhile, you teach, and for me, teaching is the best way to learn. Always with responsibility. Okay, you can't be 1 month in classes and then you teach. But it was hard, yes. But and it's still hard sometimes, but with humble, I'm trying always to do my best and to learn from different teachers and trying to apply to my dance.
Okay. Let me ask you this. For somebody out there who may be wanting to get into a new hobby, whatever it may be, in your opinion, what traits does a good teacher have? What should they look for to find the best teacher?
Okay. For me, they have a background. They teach technique because some teachers they just teach steps without the technique. So with that type of teachers, okay, you will learn a lot of steps, but you can't be then creative because you don't have the technique, so you don't know how to do with that. And also to teachers that teach you what you need to learn, not what they want to teach you. That's important for me because many teachers just want to create like a copy of them in their students, but it's not what the students need. So, and also find a teacher who you feel comfortable with because they give you a nice feedback, they make you feel comfortable in classes, they value your work. You know, sometimes we feel like, I'm a teacher and you are the student. No, man, we are just people dancing. I teach you what I know, you teach me what you know, and we learn together.
Okay, I definitely
So,
understand that. I understand that definitely. I think especially as well, understand that we all learn differently. So maybe one teacher may be able to teach you more effectively than another teacher. However, they teach their teaching style. So I definitely understand what you're saying, though.
yeah, you have to also you have to look for the teacher. It depends of what you want to learn.
Okay.
If you have a really nice technique and you just want to learn some nice steps, you go in one way. If you want to learn technique, you go in another way. If you want to learn a style, you go in another way. But yes, it depends of what you want. But sometimes this is hard because people just want to know steps without knowing the technique. They want to jump in that time. But I think is about the time because I think every of us want to step a little bit, jump in that place of knowing the basic and the technique. But then when you dance like good, you think, okay, I need to come back to basic, to technique. So I think it's time also. About the
Um,
time.
you kind of went over it just now, but tell me, why is it so important to focus on the fundamentals and the technique? Why is that so important? Why can't we just learn the steps? What's wrong with that?
Um, for me, it makes you less creative and it makes you maybe don't be able to dance with all the people because you will dance good with the people of your class and the students of that teachers because they know the steps. But if you don't know the technique as a leader and also as a follow, because people always say, as a follow, you just have to follow. You just have to let you go. No, no, man, you have to follow. You have to know the technique because with that, it will help you to dance with other people because you know the feeling of, okay, if they do this, I have the technique and I know I have to do that. So this is important for me. Steps at the end, the steps is a mixing of the techniques. So
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. I'm very curious to hear from you. Take this question however, answer this question however you want. Um, talk to me like in a dance, in a dance. Talk to me about the relationship between a leader and a follow. Well, what's your opinion on that?
okay, that's hard, Um, I know. I think it's amazing. the relationship between a lead and a follow. And also now is better because now we find leaders that it's not just men and follows it just not a woman. So for me, it helps a lot that you are able to be a leader, a follow, and a leader because you understand more the position of the other person. Me, when I start to learn a little bit as a leader, I understand the position of the leader that it's hard to dance, to be creative all the time. So I relax, like, okay, sometimes I'm too hard with them and it's not easy. So it makes you more empathic to understand both parts and to understand the process that requires. Because, for example, a lead who learns how to follow then knows knows that sometimes you can't do the step you want because, for example, the floor. Because if the girl wears heels or not, because of the space, you understand things that in the leader position you don't take care about it because you didn't know. And also as a follow, you understand many things. So I really like now the new generation that wants to learn everything. For me, is the best relationship between leaders and follows. Just dancers.
Um, you were speaking about how a leader who knows how to follow, and I would say as well a follow who knows how to lead. When I've been able to dance with those individuals who know how to both lead and follow, those are some of the best dancers I've ever met because they understand the full range of the dance. So I think that is an amazing skill, quite difficult. I've tried to follow a couple of times, quite a few times, and I'm quite heavy. I don't know how you guys get light on your feet. It's very difficult.
It's hard. It's
It
hard.
is. It is. I imagine you have tried to lead as well, right? And
Yes, I try.
it's a little difficult. It's a little difficult.
Super difficult.
um. So real quick, let me ask you this real quick. Are you a full-time dancer as well as instructor currently?
Can you repeat, please?
Yeah, no
I know.
worries.
I also asked you to repeat because you know my English.
Está bien, no problema. Are you currently a full-time dancer and instructor, or do you have
Oh,
like a
yes. Now I'm full-time dancer.
okay,
Since April, I
okay.
decided to try to be full-time dancer, and also because I live with my parents, it's easier
Hey.
to try.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm trying, and that's what I like. So I
Okay,
need to
bueno.
work for that.
Okay, bueno. So let me ask you this, Dan. Tell me, what are some things that people may not know about the life of a full-time dancer?
Oof. Okay. Okay. This is important because people think, oh, it's super cool because you go to the events for free and you spend the time dancing with people. And okay, yes, it's a good part. Yes, but sometimes people don't see that your work is not just to go to the event and teach 1, 2, 3 hours. You need to prepare this before. You need to take classes before of that. You need to, yes, to think about the class. And for me, the psychological part is quite hard, because you try to do your best without boring the people, without being so hard, without to prepare a class. For me is a job, just a job to prepare a class. And yes, people think the travelings are good, and Okay, I don't travel yet a lot, but sometimes you want to stay in home watching Netflix, and you have to go and you have to be in the party dancing all the time. And sometimes people think you are working 24/7 because, for example, if you go to a normal party, you are not working. Ah, do you want to dance? No, sorry, I'm talking with my friends and I'm taking some. Because you feel like an artist and you don't want to. Yeah, please. I'm also a person. So this also this mainly for the guys. I see with Albert because ladies we always want to dance with the teachers. Yes, because we want they dance good. We want to dance with them, and sometimes we go running. Do you want to dance? And they don't finish the dance. So sometimes this part is hard, but I have to say also that sometimes it's really nice to meet people from around the world that want to dance with you and they are so happy to dance with you. So this part is super nice, but yet it has some difficult parts, and also to be a full-time dancer sometimes it's not easy to understand for your family. This is hard because they want you to be in a like a normal job working 8 hours on the day, and sometimes it's hard. It's like, okay, but when you are going to search for a normal job? but but this part is hard, and sometimes it's like, okay, let it just work.
Now I understand that. I've I've had the pleasure of being able to speak to a lot of full-time dancers. And one thing I'm starting to hear common is as a full-time dancer, as an artist, people kind of put you on this pedestal. They kind of idolize you. They kind of make you this, superstar. And so they kind of start to objectify you, and they don't see you as a person anymore.
Yes.
So I understand that, and that and a lot of stuff comes with that. So I definitely understand that. I want to ask you. I want to ask you about some advice for followers out there. So, say for followers, and let's say I want you to help me with this, and because I'm pretty sure somebody else may have this issue as well. I told you earlier that when I tried to follow, I was heavy. I wasn't
Okay.
very light on my feet. What advice could you give me and others as well who maybe like a mini truck or a mini fridge when they're trying
Okay.
to be moved?
Okay, for trying to be less heavy, for me it's important to know how to control your core because this will help you to control your axis. That many times is the problem to be heavier because you go first with the upper body and then with the rest of the body. So try to control your core, to control your axis. Keep a good posture of the body, of the shoulders, the head, the pelvis also. And as much as you can, try to practice exercise of following. For example, like to stand up with someone in front of you, connection with the hands, and just walk and try to follow the best you can. You have to go like 1 milliseconds after, but not more. Because if you wait more, you will follow. So for me, it's about the activation of the core and the posture, and then follow. Trying not to disconnect a lot your frame. Yes, it's hard. It's hard. then it have plenty of exercise to work on that. But yes, it's hard. And also try to dance with different people because it will help you. Because each leader is different. So just try, and focus on that. Not just, okay, I'm here, I want to dance, and that's all. And this is super cool. But for example, the first 30 minutes of the social, just focus on that. Meanwhile, you are dancing, and then enjoy. And then with that, your body memory will grow and will help you to follow better in the future.
That's something that I really kind of I empathize with follows, because, and what I want to say is, as a leader, I'm always going to dance how I am, how I do. But as a follower, you're always having to adapt to the new lead. Every lead is different, and you're always going to have to adapt to that. That's very difficult.
Yes.
It is.
No, but also you have to adapt, I think, to the different follows, because
okay, true.
One of them are heavier than other one. But yes, it's quite different because you know what you want to do in the dance. So you know, and we are like, okay, what he wants to do. But I think because of that, when we start to learn as a leader, sometimes other girls says, I prefer to dance with another girl, because we experiment different dances with a lot of people, and it make us more creative, I think. Because, for example, I dance with you and I see a step I like or a vibe I like, and I say, okay, I cut this. I dance with another guy, I cut this, and then I mix it and I create my own style as a leader. So it's also because of that that I say to leaders, dance with another leaders. You will learn a lot. Yep.
So okay, so on what you just said, is dancing with them not the same as watching them dance?
Yeah, completely.
Because you get a feel for it. What's different?
Yes, you also learn watching other dancers, but as a follow, you learn in a non-conscious way. You just dancing, and that knowledge come to your mind, that vibe come to your mind, and you don't, because you are not paying attention of that, but it comes to your body, the feeling. So it's different. You can also learn watching, but to feel the experience is always more helpful.
No, I definitely understand that too. It's like I'm trying to learn from YouTube. You can learn only but so much. And I think as well, how do I say this? I think for leaders or followers, when you dance with a good lead, it shows you, I guess, like the true potential of a dance and what's possible. And so, it's like when you meet the best person at their craft and you watch them do their thing and you're like, wow, I never knew that this was even possible. This level of skill was possible. So I understand that. And I understand if you're able to dance with that person, you're like, okay, I know as a leader, I'll be like, okay, this is a really good lead. And I'll be able to appreciate that.
Yes, because sometimes people ask me, what is the best dancer for you as a leader? And I say, okay, I like this one. But, for example, I like this one and this one, but I like to watch them. Then I have to dance with them because maybe the feeling is not as good as watching them, you know? So for me to say this is a good dancer, this is a good leader, I have to dance with them to feel.
Of
Because
course.
sometimes it's really nice to see them. They do really nice things, really fancy steps, but then you dance with them and it's like
Ugh.
the technique of leading is not as good.
Oh, that's so true. I think there's so many things I could say off of that. I'll say first off, performing and social dancing are two different skills. And I'll say that I've had a couple of my exes, they'll tell me, this lead, he looks amazing as a dancer, but for whatever reason, when she was able to dance with them, when they were able to dance with them, it just didn't click. And I think that's also another point. Maybe you could speak on this. Tell me, is it what I want to say? Is it unrealistic to want to believe that you're gonna have a great dance with everyone? Is that realistic or unrealistic?
Unrealistic because, for example, sometimes you have the expectation here,
Right.
then you dance, and maybe it's not your day because maybe some days I dance like really bad. I don't have the mood. I don't connect with that person, and days after I have the best connection. So
Okay.
it depends on, for me, plenty of things: the floor, the music, the day, the dancer. Because for me to both have the real super nice connection is quite hard because we are two different person. You have a day, I don't know. I have my day. Maybe my day was a shit, maybe your day not, and you feel it was a really nice connection, and for me it's like, yeah, I don't feel the connection. So when you find that connection on that day, that's
I was
super. But
I was just
yes,
I was just about to lead into that. You're right. I feel like a lot of dances are, okay, mediocre. But when you find that special dance, it's an amazing feeling.
I fell in love sometimes of the dance. Like, I want to stay here all the life,
It's I don't even know how you could put it into words, but it's like, they say dance is like a form of communication. And you find that one person who's just speaking your language, and it's like you really get to know that person, or what?
Sometimes, for example, before COVID, in New Year, just before COVID, I meet a dancer. I see him outside and I think, okay, I have to dance with him because he looks like super cool with the hip hop vibe. And I danced with him and it was super cool. But then they play like douceur music. Oh my God. I feel one of the best connections ever. Like, you know, mm, because sometimes as a follow, you think, oh, on that sound, I could do that. But it not happens because you are not leading. So imagine that you are thinking, oh, it comes this in the music and I'm going to do and I want to do, and he does. And you was like, oh, no way. No way.
Okay, I mean, I know exactly what you mean. Let me ask you this. I don't know how. This is a question that came to my mind, but your future husband, is he going to have to be a dancer?
My what? Can you repeat,
Your
please?
su esposo de futura, is he going to have to be a dancer?
I think yes. Definitely. I don't care. I don't care if it's kizomba,
Okay.
bachata, hip hop, but for me it's important because okay, if I want to be a full-time dancer, it's easier to understand to a dancer than another person, and
Mhm.
also you share different things. And yes, I'm a dancer. I want a dancer with me.
I understand that. I definitely understand that. Um, let me ask you this real quick. I'm very curious to hear from you. Tell me this: what are some things that you've learned from dancing that you're able to translate to your everyday life?
Oof. Woof, woof, woof. That's super hard question. Because I learned some things, but I'm not sure if I learn just in dance or also in psychologist. So, but I think to work in group, because I started dancing in groups in hip hop. So from the beginning, I know how to work in group, to like to create a community. Um, I also now I'm more like how can I say that in English? I'm gonna say in Spanish. Cariñoso, like affective.
Okay, cariño,
I'm more affective after Kizomba.
affectionate.
Yes, affectionate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
effective. Yeah, affectionate.
affective.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because before Kizomba, I don't like hugs. I don't like to hug people. Never. And now I don't care if you are a dancer or not. If I see you and I know you, hey, how are you? Always dance, hugging. Yes, I. This helps me a lot because before I was like, and also dance gives me the opportunity to know a lot of people from different places of the world, and I'm super thankful for that. I also learn a little bit of English because, okay, my English is not so good, but you have to see me before. In the school, always 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0. So, yes,
Mhm.
dance is amazing.
Yeah. I'll say your English is infinitely better than my Spanish. So yeah, I think you're good. You're good. Está bien. Tell me, I want to ask you this. So you say you've been teaching for the past 3 or 4 years. Tell me this: what are some common mistakes that you've seen in your classes that you wish you could rectify for everyone?
um, that I see in my students, you mean?
Exactly. Yes.
Um, mm, mm. The smoothness in the leaders, the smoothness. Um, the musicality, the basic musicality, because now I go to the socials and I see people who has been dancing for a long time and they don't find the one. And for me, this is super hard. So the basic musicality, the smoothness, and for the follows, the technique of following, because I have to say that most of us, and I include myself, we think as a follow we just have to go to the parties and dance, and we don't need classes. But then you realize that you need classes. So if you do that at the beginning, it's better. But I have to confess, for myself, it was like that. I started in socials, then I dance more or less good, and I think, oh, I don't need classes. Then months later, I think, yes, I need classes. It's not just to let you go in the dance.
I got a couple questions for you, but I definitely understand what you mean. Learning from social dancing will only teach you but so much, and it will not teach you the technique, the fundamentals. Correct? You're not going to learn that from social dance. You're going to need an instructor, a proper instructor, to teach you that, right?
Yes.
And that's what separates the average dancers, the social dancers, from the really good dancers, the one who's taken time to perfect the technique, the basics, understand all
Yes.
those things. Talk to me about this real quick. When you say smoothness, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
That you don't put too much strength in your leading to
Mm.
move the follow, because sometimes for me the best dance are when it fluid, like it he doesn't touch me anything and I know where I have to go, because some leaders thinks that the leading comes just from the frame and they forget to move this, because then you see people who dance without touching and you think how. So because they use another techniques, for example the shoulders, the upper body, the lines, so it's easier. And if you know how to use this and also the frame, you are going to be smoother.
Um, and so this smoothness that you speak of, does that just come with time and experience?
Yes, for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, because even if you take classes from the beginning, you need a process to learn, to have mistakes, to learn again, and then with practice, dancing with a lot of follows, you will learn that smoothness.
And so you spoke on musicality. You spoke on that a couple times. Tell me this. Tell me this. You really like the musicality, which is amazing. For someone out there who wants to improve their musicality, how do you go about improving your musicality?
Okay, what I tell to my students, it's this is my sentence of life. Musicality is a way of life. For me, is this because you can't be a musicality person if you don't listen music all the time, different type of music, and just not hear the music, is listen the music, is analyze the music, is take a song that you know perfectly and discover things that you didn't know of that song. Because and I tell to my students, I know it's hard to be working on that every time, but it will help you in a social that they play a song that you didn't know before, and you are dancing and you the how can I know this sound is going to come? And it happens because of training. So my best advice is to hear, not to hear, to listen a lot of music and different styles of music, and to analyze. Just it's okay, but be with music all the time. I tell to my students, guys, I also dance the music of the train station. You know, the music of the ads of the television. It's a way to live.
Hey, that's a very unique. That's different. Let me. This is the final question I want to ask you. My last question. Tell me this. Can you give me one tip, one piece of advice that can make anyone a better dancer immediately?
Ooh, immediately. Whoa, to be humble. Yeah, immediately to be humble, because you will learn more if you open your mind on that way.
Okay, all right. I don't want to ask a stupid question, but what do you mean by humble? What do you mean by that?
like you don't mm, like you don't think you know everything. You don't think you are the best dancer. You think you have nothing to learn about this person and this person, because you always have to learn. If you dance with, for example, as a teacher, if you dance with a beginner, you will learn a lot, because you see some mistakes and you think, okay, in my classes I have to teach this so that people will not have that mistakes. So it helps you a lot to dance with other people and don't think you have all the knowledge of life and you are a top dancer and you are the best. So yeah, to be humble.
Thanks. Oh no, I couldn't agree with that anymore. Um, it's hard to teach somebody who thinks they know everything.
Super hard.
Super
It's
hard.
hard.
It is.
Sometimes it's like, okay, I will not teach you anymore,
Yeah.
because you think you know everything. It's okay.
Mm, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
facts, facts. I really like that answer. I think that's the answer that anyone and everyone can apply to themselves in all facets of life. Just being humble. Sorry, I really like that answer. Miss Gutierrez, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I really enjoyed this.
Can I say something
Please go ahead.
important? I want to take that opportunity to give a tip to the ladies who wants to work in dance, in a couple dance scene. Um, please value yourself as a teacher, because sometimes we feel just like assistant. And if you really want to be a teacher and you work for that, important, if you work for that, please value yourself and don't accept bad conditions of bookings. Don't accept that the leader who you want to dance with treats you bad. And it's hard to be a lady in a couple dance world, a lady teacher. It's hard, but my advice is to keep working, and sometimes it will be hard. Sometimes you will wanna let everything, but keep working and connect with people that you admire, teachers that you admire as a lady teachers. Talk with them if there's something that you worry about, that you don't know how to do because you are starting. Just connect with people that you admire and ask them. And always please value yourself, because it's super important. That don't be just always the assistant. Also because the follows want to learn in a workshop from a follow, just not an assistant. They want to learn the technique of a follow. So we have to be strong. We have to keep working and to be on the scene as value as the men, because we are the same. So thank you for the space to say that. It's important for me.
Of course, of course, of course. Um, I definitely understand that. Tell me this real quick. Tell me this real quick. Do you have any upcoming events? Anything that you want to plug? Anything you want to share with the people?
Oh yes. For the people who see this, if you want to learn from me, I have online classes every Monday at 7 p.m. Spanish Madrid time zone. You can write me on Instagram on my on my mail, on my Instagram, to book the classes. There are body control classes for men, women, focus on Kizomba fusion, but body control, applying hip hop techniques and that thing. So spam.
I'm gonna do this real quick. Can you give me one tip to improve my body control?
Oh, one tip for the body control. Less is more. Try to control first the movement in a smaller way to really control it, not just to do it, to control it, and then you will be able to make it bigger. For example, you control that, the technique, okay, in a smaller way, okay, that's not a problem. And then you will control it in a bigger way, but controlling.
Okay.
Less is more.
Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. Okay, last question, real quick. How can people reach out to you? How can they get in contact with you?
Classes with me.
Oh no, how can people reach out to you? You know, what's your handles, your Instagram, your Facebook? How can they get in contact with you?
Okay. In Instagram, Sandra A. Gutiérrez. In Facebook, Sandra Gutiérrez dance page, and in Facebook, normal Facebook, Sandra Gutiérrez.
Perfect. When I upload this, I'll make sure I put all your links in the description.
Thank you.
Sandra, like I said earlier, I want to thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. I really, really do.
Thank you so much, because it was a super interesting interview. You make me think about so many things that I don't think before. And that's super interesting. I think you are a really nice interviewer. Yes, and you make me feel super comfortable. So thank you so much for your time.
Hey, perfect.
And also, I hope to meet you soon in person so that we can dance.
I would love to. So I found you on Instagram and I saw your videos and I was like, oh man, I gotta have her on the show. So I definitely had you on. And I'll say this real quick. I started with salsa, then moved on to bachata, and then I found Kizomba. And Kizomba is easily my favorite dance.
Oh.
Yeah. I think I've been dancing. I'm from Virginia, the stateside. Yeah.
Hope soon.
Hey, I would love to come visit Madrid, though. I would love to come to Spain. Oh, I would love to.
Nah.
Hey, thank you so much, Ms. Sandra Gutiérrez. I absolutely enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.
That's all it is. Hey everyone, if you made it this far all the way to the end of the video, I want to thank you so much. My overall goal with making these interviews and these episodes is to give a voice to dancers, to give them a platform to speak their story. So if this is of value to anyone, then that means the world to me. My overall goal is to give value to the dance community. So if you find no value in this, then I urge you to please let me know where I can improve on. I truly want to, just give value and content to the dance community. So please let me know how I can improve, where I'm messing up, because to be 100% honest with you, I'm learning along the way as I do this. I truly am. So to be able to interact with the dance community, it means the world to me, because it gives me feedback and it lets me know what I'm doing right, where I can improve upon, what I'm doing wrong, which I feel like might be more important. So please, if you all could comment and just let me know what you think, it means the world to me, because that feedback just helps me improve. So
please comment as well. Please like and subscribe. That means a lot as well. But I want to say thank you so much for just watching this, because it means the world to me. I want to take you on this journey of the Two Left Feet podcast. I'm very excited for it. So once again, thank you so much.